Hi friends, Kate here from River Hill Farm. I talked a little bit about the flowers that I grew last year in my cutting garden, and now I want to talk a little bit about the flowers that I'm going to grow this year. But before I do that, I want to give a little shout out to my son Ryan over at Little Finland Workshop here on YouTube. He has really inspired me to set up my own YouTube channel, and you can go to his channel and check that out. He does things like restores old vintage tools, and he's amazing. He's super creative, and he has videos of adventures he's had, things he's built, his work as an iron worker and cutting down trees, and some of his earlier work making videos of little brick people. I don't think I should say the name brand. So go on over and check him out at Little Finland Workshop. All right, so I'm gonna try to speak quickly because I think I have over 60 different varieties of flower seeds that I'm gonna grow this year. I'm not gonna go into detail on any of them much. I just wanted to use this kind of as an introduction to the flowers I'm gonna be planting this year and to keep myself accountable so that I can remember to check back in and tell you how things are growing in my garden this summer. So I'm gonna post pictures on the screen up here so you can see what I'm gonna grow. This year I'm gonna grow catmint. That's a perennial and it has blue flower spikes. I'm looking forward to growing this. The next thing I'm growing is spearmint. I grew a little bit of that in my front garden last year. I used it as a bouquet filler. I'm gonna grow it this year on a larger scale. Next thing I'm growing is lemon mint. This is kind of a wild spike. It's purple. It's gonna go well in a lot of bouquets. I love it. I'm gonna grow some anise hyssop. I actually grew that in my perennial garden up front as well last year. I'm gonna grow it en masse this year. Lemon balm. I've grown this before and it spreads like crazy. I love it. It's a beautiful filler for bouquets and I'm gonna grow a lot of it. Mrs. Burns lemon basil. I grew this last year. I loved it. I love the spikes. I love the greenery. I'm growing it again this year. Thai basil. Thai basil has green leaves and a purple stem and with tiny little purple flowers. It's lovely and I'm gonna grow that as well. Next thing I'm growing is holy basil. I've never grown this before. This is also known as Tulsi. I'm gonna give it a try this year. I'm also going to grow dark opal basil, and I think that this will be a really good base for some fall bouquets that I'm planning to make this year. I'm going to grow some foxglove, and that's going to be kind of an anchoring perennial type of flower in the back of one of my flower gardens this year. I'm also going to grow Palmer's penstemon. I am going to hopefully cut that for flower bouquets, but I also just want to leave some in the back of my my bed because it's just beautiful. Palmer's penstemon is a perennial. I might not get flowers this year, but I probably will next year. And foxglove is a biennial, but it reseeds, so hopefully I won't have to keep replanting that. I'm going to plant some Rocky Mountain penstemon that has that has blue spikes, and it's beautiful. It'll be a great spike to put into bouquets, but it's also perennial, so I'm going to save some to grow in the back of my flower bed as well. I'm going to grow showy beard tongue, and this is a purple spike, and it is, I've never grown it before. It's a perennial. I'm going to try it out. I am going to plant cilantro confetti is the variety. It has kind of lacy leaves and white umbral flowers. I grew cilantro last year and loved it. I'm going to grow it again this year. I'm going to try chervil this year, which I think has an anise type scent. Never grown it. It doesn't get that tall, but I'm going to try it as a bouquet filler. I'm growing two types of cress this year. I'm growing Persian cress and wrinkled, crinkled cress. I grew some pennycress last year, loved it. Wish I had grown more. It went to seed fast, so I will do several different sowings of the both varieties of this cress. This year, I'm going to try growing Orlea, white finch. I've never grown Orlea before, but I want to give it a try. I love the form of it. The next one is Saponaria, Pink Beauty. I grew this last year and I loved it. I'm going to try doing it better this year because last year it got too leggy before I could plant it and I kind of ruined it, but I loved it and I want to grow more. Deep Carmine Baby's Breath, and this is a small baby's breath with red flowers. I think that's going to be a great bouquet filler. Corncockle or Agrostema. I grew purple last year but failed at that. I'm going to grow Blossom Pearl, which is just a light blush, and hopefully I will make a success of that this year. I'm growing two different types of dianthus. The first one is Chinese pinks, and I've always loved pinks. I've grown those before. They're a perennial, and I think that they're going to do great in my cottage style bouquets. I'm also growing Flora Pearl Apple Blossom that I got from Baker Creek heirloom seeds, and it's a beautiful pink that fades. I love dianthus, and I think this is going to be a great addition to my cottage bouquets. Next one is Immortelle. I grew this last year. It was a mix of purple and white flowers. I'm growing the same mix this year. It is fantastic. I love it, and I will always grow it. Winged Amoebium is the next one. These have tiny little white flowers with yellow centers. They're an everlasting, and they have papery blossoms on them. I'm growing a creamy white straw flower. I've never grown straw flower either, but I love them as well. This is just going to be a nice white flower that can be added into lots of different types of bouquets. I'm growing a purple red straw flower, and this one I think will do well in fall bouquets. I'm going to go Chinese forget-me-nots that I grew these last year, just the tall blue. I'm not sure it's firmament, if that's what it's called, but it's just the tall blue cineglossom. I love those. They're cottagey and so sweet. I'm growing Nigella Albion Green Pod. They're a white flower and they make a green pod, and they're fairly tall. So I think that they're going to be great. I love those pods. They're going to add something special to a bouquet. I'm also growing Globe Gilia this year, and I've never grown that, but it looks almost like an onion, or like a chive, I think, the head. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to turn out like. I'm growing Lewis Flax, which is a perennial flax, and it will not blossom this year, but should blossom next year. I'm also growing Purple Prairie Clover, and this is a perennial as well. I like the form of this flower, and it's a pretty purple addition that's kind of that wild element that I love so much. I'm growing several different types of cornflowers. Different varieties. I'm growing the tall blue, and I grew that last year and loved it. I'm also going to grow the tall white. I think that will go with a lot of different bouquets. White is always a good addition. I'm also growing tall pink to go with my other pink flowers, and I think that's going to be really sweet. I'm growing Mauve Lady, which is a purple. I've never grown that before. I'm going to try that out. I'm going to grow Black Boy as well. I think this will be good for fall bouquets. And Classic Magic Mix, which is a mix of mauve, Black Boy, and then kind of a variegated white and purple flower as well. I'm going to grow two different types of yarrow. I have some yarrow growing. I have a friend. Yes, you're a sweet boy. Hey. Say hi, Emmy. Say hi. Okay, you need to go down. Okay, I grow yarrow in my front perennial flower bed, and I love it. I'm going to be growing 2 different varieties, Summer Pastels, which is a perennial, and Love Parade. Love Parade has larger flowers. This is, I think, a new variety. I got it from Baker Creek. I'm going to try that out this year. Okay, marigolds. I am going to grow several different types of, or varieties of marigolds. I am going to grow Eskimo, which is a white marigold, and I think it has a smaller head and it's a little bit shorter, but it's not like the signet type. I think the heads are maybe 2 inches across, so not giant, but not small. I'm also growing Kilimanjaro white, which looks a little more wild and crazy, which I love. I think that's going to be great in wildflower bouquets. I'm also going to grow Sugar and Spice, which I think is kind of somewhere between a white and a yellow, like a soft yellow, or maybe a lime. It's going to be in there in that color range. So they look a little more wild as well. They almost look kind of like a carnation. So that's what the picture says. So I've never grown it. We'll see. I am growing 2 different types of signet marigolds. I'm growing the tangerine gem and also the red gem. And these are tiny little flowers, and they're kind of on short bushes. I think they're going to really add a nice element to my wildflower bouquets. I'm growing some feverfew this year. I'm growing Magic Single. I have some that has overwintered, and I'm also going to start more seeds and add to that area of my flower garden. I'm also growing Lime Green, and I'm also growing Snowball. So I think those will be great additions to my cottage style bouquets. I'm going to try again growing Prairie Sun Rudbeckia. I failed last year. I'm going to try again this year. They're so cheerful and so lovely and happy. I am going to try until I succeed. I'm growing Long-Headed Coneflower, which is a perennial. And I love the form of this. It looks wild and is wild. And it's going to be great in my wildflower bouquets. I'm going to grow Garland Daisy this year. And that's a mix of white and yellow daisies. I'm also going to grow Oxeye daisies. I have some Shasta daisies growing up in my front perennial bed, but I really like the Oxeye daisies. They have a smaller head and they can go crazy. They can spread like mad. I'm just going to grow them in a dedicated space, so hopefully they won't take over everything else. But they grow wild in one of our favorite vacation spots, so I have to grow them. Cosmos. I'm going to grow several different varieties of Cosmos. I'm going to grow Pinky, which is just a plain pink, a Daydream, which starts out towards the center as a dark pink and fades out to a very soft pale pink. I'm going to grow Apricota Cosmos, which are glorious and beautiful, and I grew them last year and will grow them again this year. One of my favorites. I'm growing 2 different varieties of Cupcakes Cosmos, the white variety and the blush variety. I grew these both last year and love them. They're sweet and elegant, and I love them so much, and they go great in bouquets. I'm going to try my hand at Xanthos Cosmos again, the nice lemony to buttery yellow Cosmos. I failed last year. I'm going to try again this year. I'm also going to try Xenia Cosmos, which are a brighter pink, but kind of the same feel as an Apricota, I believe. Apricota is almost iridescent, and I think the Xenia is also that iridescent type fade between a terracotta and a magenta. So we'll try them out and see what happens with those. Zinnias. I'm going to grow 3 of the Oklahoma series: Oklahoma Pink, Oklahoma Salmon, and Oklahoma Carmine. They're beautiful, sweet, and small. They're great to tuck into bouquets. They go anywhere because they're smaller and they just are puffy and adorable. I'm going to grow Benary's Giant Salmon Rose, which is a popular variety. Never grown the Benary's series. I'm going to try that this year. And I'm going to grow several from the Queenie series. I'm going to grow the Queenie Lime Orange, which is kind of a rusty, I think, color, rusty orange. And I'm going to grow the Queenie Lime Red, which is kind of that dusty rose. And I think both of those are going to look really great in bouquets for the fall. So I'm actually going to start those a little bit later in the season. I'm going to grow the Queenie Pure Orange, which is just a pure orange zinnia. I grew some zinnias that were orange last year. It came in the Pamela mix, and I just have to have orange, bright orange. I really kind of gravitate towards those peach, pink, blush, buttery yellow colors, but I also really like some bright pops of color here and there. And so orange has to be one of them that I'm gonna grow. I am trying out this year Zinnia Ballerina, and this was new to Johnny's Seeds this year. The floret craze is so wonderful. I have been following Erin over at Floret for a little while and love her varieties of zinnias that she's been breeding and working on, but I was not able to get any of her seeds. So Johnny's offered this mix of kind of pinks and peaches that were in a really soft, pale pastel range. And so I bought a packet of those. I'm going to try those out. I'm also going to try out Zinnia Zinderella Peach. I've never grown these before, but I like the form of them. A lot of people say that you don't always get double blooms with them, but I think even the single blooms, the color range that they have is going to add something romantic to my cottage style bouquets. So I'm going to try those out this year. I'm also going to grow Zinnia Exquisite, which is a bright pink zinnia, and I just wanted something pink to go with the brighter colored bouquets that I make. I'm also going to grow Zinnia Isabellina. I grew these last year and love them. They're buttery yellow and gorgeous. And the last zinnia I'm going to grow this year is Purple Prince. This is an heirloom variety, and I really wanted to have a purple zinnia. I think the range is somewhere between a really bright purple and soft lavender. So it'll be interesting to see what that will give me. So I also wanted to mention at the end of this video the seed sources, the sellers that I purchase most of my seeds from. And number one is Johnny's Seeds. Last year I did not buy anything from Johnny's Seeds, but I drooled over their catalog and made a wish list that I ended up never fulfilling. This year I did, and I ordered a lot from Johnny's. Well, a lot comparatively. I'm just a home gardener, and I don't have a flower farm. This is just my little flower row in my backyard. So I ordered from Johnny's. I also ordered from Everwild, and I love Everwild. They sell wildflower seeds. I think that they do sell some vegetables. I really love their line of wildflowers. I really gravitate towards wild looking bouquets. I don't want something that looks cultivated and prim and proper. I want a wild bouquet any day. So Everwild is definitely the source for those hard to find wildflowers that add that carefree element to your bouquets. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds is one of my favorites. I've loved Baker Creek for a long time. I've followed them for a long time. And they sell a wide range of vegetables and some fruits, but they also sell some really interesting flowers, and they sell in small packet sizes for home gardeners. So if you just want to try something out and you only need 25 or 50 seeds, Baker Creek is the place to go to try out something new and interesting. The last one is Seed Needs. They actually operate out of Michigan here, and they don't have a huge selection, but they carry a lot of heirloom varieties, and they have nice big packet sizes for really inexpensive prices. If you want a lot of something, you can buy a packet of 250 seeds for less than $4. So I love them as well. All right, so those are the seeds I'm planning to grow this year. We'll see what happens as the season goes along. I actually have to start some seeds today. I'm behind in my schedule. So I'm gonna start that today, and I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching today. If you liked this video, then click like and subscribe to follow me on all my flower farming adventures. Have a lovely day. This is our third son. He's playing the banjo right now, so I wanted to get a little bit of the sound for you.